Hey there, Seb Frey the Realtor here, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how you can be sure that you will sell your Silicon Valley home really fast. If you're worried that the market has gotten soft and it's going to be hard to sell your property, it's going to take a long time and you're not going to get a great price, then you definitely want to watch this video. Alright, well before I get into all that, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for clicking on the link to watch this. I really do appreciate it. And I would also love it if you mash that subscribe button right there to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And don't forget, click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new, fun, fact-filled video, kind of like this one. Well, you know, I am a realtor, and in the real estate business, or maybe any sales business, they say that fortune is in the follow-up. And so I call a lot of homeowners all the time who I've spoken with before, who have inquired or indicated in some way that they are thinking about selling their home. And I ask them, I say, hey, I'm just wondering where you're at with your plans to make a move. And do you know what I hear a lot these days? I hear a lot of people saying, gee, the market isn't very good. It's pretty soft right now. I think it would be hard to sell my house. I think it would take a long time. I don't think I'd get very much money for it. I just think this is not a good time to sell my home. And hey, I'm sensitive to that. I understand because, you know, the market is not like it used to be. But here's the thing. The market is never, ever going to be like it was in 2021 and the very beginning part of 2022. That was like an historic real estate market which no one had ever seen before and which we will, I'm sure, never see again unless we have COVID part 10 or whatever, I don't know. But those days are gone, and what we're left with is actually a pretty decent real estate market. It's not like it was before, but it certainly is not terrible. There have been many real estate markets that were much worse than today's real estate market for home sellers. And I want to let you know that it is still possible to sell your Silicon Valley home very quickly and get a really great price for it. Now, how great? Obviously, probably not as great as it would have been like 1 year ago in March of 2022. It was insane. The prices just exploded. It was like a very high peak that like exceeded February and January by an incredible amount, and then it did drop off very quickly. Well, we're not going to see another market like that, I'm sure, in our lifetimes. But while the prices are lower than they were a year ago, they're still higher than they were 2 years ago. And how long have you owned your home anyway? 10, 15, 20, 30 years? Some of you longer than that even. So if we're talking about a period of 2 years and we're still higher than we were 2 years ago, overall I would say, you know, you've done pretty well. Maybe you did miss the absolute peak, but you're probably not too far off of it. But I digress, because the topic of this video is how you can be sure you are going to sell your Silicon Valley home really fast. And you know, I've been doing this now for over 20 years, so I've actually been through a couple of market cycles, and I remember the bad old days. I remember when the market crashed, like it started to crash like in late 2007 really, and then 2008 was like the real serious crash, and then 9 and 10 also, you know, not really banner years for the you know, homeowners to sell their house for sure. But I remember that time because I was selling a lot of real estate during that time, and one thing that I noticed was that when I was working with buyers, almost every single time I would put an offer in on a house in the Greater Bay Area, you know what happened? There were multiple offers. There were multiple offers on just about every one of those properties. And this was in the worst time ever in all of history, basically, in all of North American history anyway, to ever sell a house. But yet, even in this terrible market, every time I wrote an offer, there were multiple offers on that property, and I had to compete. And why were there so many offers? Well, you know, these were foreclosures and short sales, right? These are, I mean, 70% of the market at one point was either a foreclosure or a short sale. You know, in the depths of the mortgage crisis, you know, it was that bad. But there were a lot of people out there making offers. You know, there was a lot of opportunity out there for buyers who still had jobs, who still had credit. And it was, you know, very difficult to get into a lot of these properties. Almost every one of them did have multiple offers on it. And, you know, these properties, by the way, I should mention, you know, they were most of the time not in great shape. You know, a lot of people were not investing heavily in their properties in that time, to say the least. Of course, not even the banks, obviously, who took over the properties. A lot of them had been stripped of their appliances and maybe had holes in the floors and, you know, all kinds of different issues with the condition. These oftentimes were not the best properties around, but even so, they still got multiple offers and would sell very quickly, way over asking price. So how is it that in the worst time in history, with the worst properties of all in terms of condition and oftentimes location, how is it that they were attracting all of these multiple offers? And that is simply the law of supply and demand. Now, there was much more supply out there at that time than there is today. Today, there's actually a pretty limited supply. I believe right around here, we're looking at just below a 3-month supply of inventory. And, you know, classically, that would be a short supply of inventory. Normally, a 6-month supply is considered a balanced supply, but for the last 10 or 12 years, really ever since the mortgage crisis ended here in the Bay Area, we've really only had about a 3-month supply, and maybe once in a while a 4-month supply, but oftentimes just 2 months or even 6 weeks. You know, like a year ago, it was like a 2-week supply of inventory. This time a year ago, that's about as low as I have ever seen it. But it was the law of supply and demand, because even back then, you know, the prices had dropped to the point where there was enough demand. I mean, people who could never have afforded a property, you know, like a couple of years ago, all of a sudden, when prices were down low enough where they could actually, you know, afford to make an offer, there was enough people out there who had the capacity to make those offers. The demand was off the hook, even in a time when the real estate market was definitely, you know, the worst market anyone had ever seen. And so when I look at today's market and people are saying, oh, the market is so terrible, it's so awful, it's not a good time to sell a property. Well, certainly, you know, compared to 2008, 9, and 10, 11, maybe even, the real estate market is in much better condition than it was back then. And if it was possible to sell very quickly and get multiple offers and sell way over asking price back then, why not now? Why not now? And the answer is there is no reason why not now. You can still get that exact same result. In fact, today in Silicon Valley's real estate market, we are still seeing over 1/3 of all homes are getting multiple offers, and they are selling over asking price, and they are selling very, very quickly. What's the secret? How do they do it? It's actually not a secret. It's totally obvious. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's supply and demand. There is a very short supply of homes that are priced well for their condition and their location. And when buyers come across those ones that are actually correctly priced and in a good location, and, you know, the condition matches the price, you will get multiple offers. Here we are, we're already 2 months into the year. Every single time that I've written up an offer so far this year, there have been multiple offers, and this is a market which is supposedly a soft market. So the key is exploiting the imbalance that we have here. There is not a lot of supply, and true demand is not what it was when interest rates were 2.5% or 3%. I will stipulate that fact. But there are still plenty of buyers out there who need to buy a property. One thing I want to point out is that, you know, transaction volume is down. Last year, I think there was like 37% fewer sales than a year ago in Santa Clara County. What does that mean? Does that mean that all those people just moved away? No, all of those people are still out there. They still want to buy a home. All those people have then shifted their time frame into 2023, maybe 2024. So we're having the normal number of people who would be looking for a home this year, plus another 30+% who were unable to buy a home last year. So we have a really good demand out there, even with interest rates where they're at. I mean, right now they're about 6.5%. Wouldn't be surprised if they went back up to 7 or even higher than that. But we still do have that demand because there are a lot of people who need homes in Silicon Valley today. Now, There's a demand for what kind of home exactly? Well, all kinds of homes really, but the homes which have the highest demand are the ones which look the best for the price that's being asked. So you could have a home which is priced at $1.5 million. It's the same size and age as another home that's priced for $1.5 million. But one of them could sell for 1.7, the other one could sell for 1.3. It really has so much to do with the condition of the property. In other words, it has to do with how much value that buyers see in the property. If buyers are seeing the property represents a whole ton of work, they're not going to go crazy overbid, and it may actually have to get a reduced price and sell below asking price. If buyers go in there and they see the condition exceeds what they would expect to see at the price that's being asked, what's going to happen? Multiple offers, and it's going to sell quickly over asking price. Now, you may take this to mean that you have to spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting your home ready for sale. I will help you with that if you feel that you really do want to make sure that you're getting the very highest price, the very highest amount of cash out of the property when you do sell it. I'm your guy. I will work with you. I'll get your property in tip-top shape. We have a number of different ways we work with our sellers, most of which require no cash out of your pocket whatsoever to get the property into tip-top shape. And if that's what you want to do, we will do that. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do that. You could actually put your home up for sale on the market as it is right now without cutting the lawn or like putting away your dirty dishes. You can sell a house completely as is, and if the price is set to the point where the buyers will overlook all that, you know what's going to happen? If the buyers see that value, what's going to happen is there will be a bidding war. You will get a lot of activity on that property. You will sell over asking price if buyers see the value. And you really do want to have those multiple offers. You want to have buyers competing on your property, because that is how you can be sure that you are getting the very highest price possible without having multiple offers on your property, without negotiating with several buyers at the same time. You can never be sure that you are getting the absolute highest price the market will bear at that time for your house in whatever condition that it's in when you do go to sell it. So if you're looking to get the very best combination of price and terms on your Silicon Valley house right now, then the way to start is by calling the number here at the bottom of your screen. That number goes directly to my cell phone, and I'll be standing by. I would love to have a chat with you and find out what your situation is, what your time frame is, and how we can work together to make sure that you do get a really amazing sale price and a fantastic experience when you go to sell your home. All right, well, that's all I have for this video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, you'll probably also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do check those out. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. All right, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned.